Hello. So, this is it. The finals of UBL Season 3. I forgot to turn my fan off. So, this is post-commentary. I was still, like, in my break of recording, but this is it, finals. We were against Prince and the Midnight Agents for the finals. They ended up taking out Canna, who had an incredible regular season. I believe they took out Airstream as well, who ended up taking over a coach, I think, at the time. So they took out two UBL people. So for me, it was like, this was the last stand for the mods of the UBL. And honestly, like, I think I was still in a mindset of this was something I had to win. But I also knew Prince was a good player. Prince was also the other person to beat me in the regular season. So I knew this matchup was going to be tough. Prince has a pure Trick Room team. I don't think they made any changes since last time we played. And they don't have anything fast, but the fact that their Trick Room mode is so, like, hard to stop is kind of problematic. So, I thought a lot about this matchup. I was thinking about this matchup even before I played Drayden for semi-finals. That's how much I was thinking about this matchup, because if I get there, I need a plan. And to say I went with a plan is one thing. To say I went insane is another. I went probably one of the most creative teams I've ever built. And I'm really proud of it. So, yeah. So the team itself, we are focusing Colossal. Colossal outspeeds their team. They only really have, like, a couple things for it. They've got their water type in Gastrodon, but we can, Solar Beam that down. And you notice here, we've got Heat Wave, Solar Beam, Earth Power, Protect. There is no Rock Stab here. There is no Vocalith. We're just going, because what does Vocalith hit, like, that I care about? Mr. Rhyme? Like, and Beartic. Those were the two things that it hit, and, I've got Fire anyway. And a lot of the Pokemon, like, I'm not chipping down. This matchup isn't about chipping them down. This is about getting one-shots. Because it's about who uses their Dynamax better and who can one-shot each other better. They were using Marowak the whole season to just bot people, Even then, I think down here, like, Mr. Rhyme got a ton of kills, just from spamming Blizzard, honestly. So I was like, we're going Coal. Coal is our goal here. Coal is our goal. And you notice we've got a very specific speed stat. We've actually got 38 speed stat. This is going to come up later. We're actually a slow Coal. But it does mean, even at +4 speed, we actually still outspeed their entire team. So, yeah. Next up, Sneasel. We can still do our... We've still got Surf, Beat Up, Fake... Very standard Sneasel, honestly. I even went just max speed, just in case something was going to try and catch me off guard. Very standard Sneasel. Then, Barizion. Also pretty standard. I believe these two I brought the last time we played. This was also just to try and scare off the Gastrodon, honestly. Like, and also, like, Barizion still does a lot of work against their team. I think I tried to focus on Barizion last time because it does a lot. It's good against Marowak. It's good against Gastrodon. It's good against, like, the Ice types, fighting the Rock types, the Steel types. It's not going to OHKO them, though, which is the issue. And also, like, Megahorn is really good for Cress. So, yeah. Next up, Sharty Berry Moltres. This was kind of, honestly, here as a bait. This was never intending to come. But it had some use. Snarl was a cool tech that I thought about, just in case they try and get going with some special attackers. And then Fiery Wrath and Surf, not Fiery Wrath and Surf, Fiery Wrath and Hurricane, and Nasty Plot, just in case I ended up deciding that this was the way to go. Instead, in case they were like, I'm going to Dynamax my Crest, for example. And now for the heat of the team. Dusknoir. This is Iron Ball Min-Speed Dusknoir. This underspeeds their entire team, meaning I can go for a Bulldoze onto Colossal. I was ready to fight them in Trick Room. I had Imprison on here in case that their Trick Room mode was too good for me, but it also meant I could keep them in Trick Room. I could let them set up Trick Room, imprison it so they couldn't get out of Trick Room, while I've got a slow Cole with setting up Weakness Policy, underspeeding their entire team, and one-shotting everything. That was the idea. Probably one of the, like, to get this exact speed stat right, it was so difficult, but we got it. Everything else, I got Protect on there because it was another great move to Imprison, because then, you know, they can't protect the max moves. This was the whole game plan. And I believe the whole game was to lead Sneasel Colossal, turn 1 Protect, and, like, it was to try and position so, like, I could get them in Trick Room, so I could protect Cole, switch to Dustnor, get into Trick Room, let them set up Trick Room, I didn't care, and then just bulldoze Weakness Policy, my Colossal, max it, and go in. And then Imprison, keep them in Trick Room so they can't reverse it once they realize what's happening. That was the whole idea, and I was really, really proud of this whole idea, because it was just like, this is an idea that, like, even if they have a way to get around stopping, like, making sure Trick Room goes up, I can make sure it goes up. I can make sure that I can fight in it better than they can. And last but not least, Rindo counter Swampert. Wide Guard was here as well. I knew I wanted Swampert mainly for Wide Guard, honestly. Also, I knew I needed a ground type, because this was one of the matchups where I knew, like, it was the reason why I got a ground type. Rindo I just carried just in case. I know Copperage gets Power Whip, for example. Xerxes gets Energy Ball. There's a few mons that could just get a grass type move and nuke it, and I just didn't want that. And again, Wide Guard was really nice, because a lot of the time they were going for Blizzard spams. So, yeah. Counter I thought could be a cool tech just to catch things off guard. I can't remember the calcs exactly for if this was worth it. And then Flip Turn for pivoting in high horsepower, because ground hits their team a lot. They've got, you know, 3 steals and an electric. So, yeah. This was a team that I thought I put a lot of time into to get everything just right. The only thing that really wasn't ever going to come, I believe, was the Moltres, because the Moltres was just there as a bait. But it could come if it needed to. It had the Charty Barrier just to make sure it could deal with Rock Falls. So, that is it. So game 1. We see their team, and we see no Conk, which I was scared of. We see the Gastro, we see the Beartic, which I wasn't expecting at all. And no Duraludon either. I think those 2 mons I was fully expecting. But I also knew I knew the Marowak was coming. I was also scared of Regidrago, because in like the last 2 in their quarterfinals and semifinals match, they just brought Scarf Regidrago and just like bopped people. So I knew I had to be at least ready for that. And it's also something else that like Swampert was good for, was for Dragons more Regidrago. So yeah, so game 1. This was the finals. I led Sneasel Colossal, which was my plan, and they led Gastrodon Beartic. I was like, okay, so they were ready for Cole. So I protect, and I go for a fake out into the Gastrodon because I expect it to like do something, and they go for Surf. So their plan is to Surf with Beartic and just buff up their Gastrodon massively. They quake my call. I'm like, this is not the plan I was expecting at all. So we get to see their Rindo, and we also get to see their Choice Scarf as well on the Beartic. And I'm like, okay, this is not going well. This is not how I expected this to go at all. So I max guard for this final turn, but they've still got the boosts. They go for a Hailstorm, they don't get it. And I've just got Sneasel Virizion. So they switch to Cress. They protect with Gastrodon. I go for the beat up. And I don't know if I call this protect or not. But obviously I'm going to beat up anyway. Why would I not? Go for the max Knuckle. So I get the protect call, but I didn't expect the switch was the issue. So I go for my beat up again because, you know, I may as well try and get to higher attack. Go for the Flutterby into the Crest because I know I don't want them setting up. They go for a Blizzard. Don't get anything really off of it. And we're now out of max. But now they can bring back in their Bear Tick. I get the Icicle Crash crit, which was kind of huge. But they've got Icicle Spear, Bear Tick, and then Xurkitree comes in, and yeah, Sneasel unfortunately can't do enough here. So that is going to be game 1 to them. They came with a plan that did not require them to set up Trick Room, and it completely threw me off. So now I realize they're not willing to set up Trick Room, so I've got to do it. So game 2. So I lead Sneasel, I lead Colossal Dusknoir this time, and they lead Rhyme Crest. I'm like, okay, this is it. We see Sash, we see Mental Earth. This is their Trick Room plan. This is what they want. So they're like fully ready to set up Trick Room. So I just protect. They Moonblast my Cole, and they get a drop, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This happened last time. So I Heat Wave just for some damage. May as well. I remember last time they did the same thing. They just Moonblasted that slot again. So I just go for the I go for the Heat Wave again, just because I know they're going to try and Moonblast that slot again, because they did it last time we played, and I set up the Trick Room myself. And I go for my Bulldoze, and I'm setting up my weakness policy now. But I realize I don't want to max this at this point. I can go for something else to max, and the Heat Waves are actually better at this point. That, or I could just even save my max. They bring in their Marowak, they max it, they Ally Switch, I Imprison just to see if I can catch anything. They max Quake the Dusknoir. I think they were expecting a max guard there, which was super nice for me. I go for Sneasel, they go for a Helping Hand, as I just try to Fake Out, which stops the Ally Switch. Go for a Heat Wave, and I think at this point I'm playing for a Virizion late game. So, again, they're trying to call out the Cole, and also I think they realize that Trick Room's going to end soon. So, yeah. I max Virizion, I think I max Guard here. Yeah, I go for the max Guard, I go for an Earth Power into Xurkitree, see if I can get it. They call it correctly, but I've got max Virizion, and we're no longer in Trick Room. And I know Xurkitree is not a threat, so I just go for the Overgrowth, get the Marowak, and then Xurkitree can't 1v1 Virizion due to its good special bulk. So we get game 2 here, with a max Overgrowth into the Xurkitree after all the grassy terrain. Protect, I guess. But with, yeah, because of grassy terrain, like Leaf Blade, even out of max, is going to get the KO. So I was super hyped, because I didn't even get a game last time. And my plan actually worked, because they went more into Marowak. They expected me to adjust. And now I was like, okay, they're gonna go back to the Gastrodon plan. They have to. But what do I have for that? Because they got the Rindo. Because they had the Rindo at the ready, and they've got Hailstorm, and they're boosting up, I don't know what I can do about that. So I'm like, well, I've got to do the only thing I can, and that is Lee Sneasel Virizion. And they lead Gastrodon Beartic, and I'm like, okay, I've just got to go for it. I've got to max my Virizion, and I've just got to go for this Gastrodon and try and take it out. They switch to Cress, a really good switch, and they just max the Beartic. And I was like, that is such a good play that I didn't expect and didn't even consider, that I just had to give it to them on the plate. They max the Beartic, max it out of the Scarf, and there goes my max, and they've got a max Beartic. See the Mental Earth and the Scarf that we already knew. They go for the Helping Hand. A Hailstorm almost takes out my Dusknoir. And I'm just, at this point, trying to get into Trick Room, because I think I've got Cole in the back here. Yeah, so I'm trying to switch around, try and get the Cole in. Go for the Ice Crush, take out the Beartic, and they go for a Geyser into that slot to call it out, and I was like, that's so bad on so many levels, because now I'm faster in Trick Room. Not where I wanted to be. So we get taken out here, and this is it. There's nothing more I can do. I don't have the damage output to take out the rest of their team. They made some really good switches, some really good plays. And yeah, I've only got Bulldoze, my attacking move on Dusknoir, and they've got Rain boosted, just Mons. with Beartic. They played this They played this They played this third game so well. So I couldn't be upset. I gave it my all. I brought such a weird team, but they also went so off the wall as well. I didn't expect the Beartic Max. I didn't expect the Gastrodon, like, putting in that much work, because the Gastrodon didn't do anything last time. So that was it. That is the finals. The finals goes to Prince. They were the winner of UBL Season 3. Me taking second overall. Honestly, Prince was an amazing player. They took over for someone during the regular season and brought the team back. And even with this very slow team, they managed to make it work. I gave it my best. I did what I could. I put all the time I could into this, and really, I don't feel bad losing this one. Like, in the regular season, the losses I had felt bad, because it felt like I didn't know what went wrong. This one, I felt like we both brought off-the-wall stuff, and his idea to win just beat what I had. I didn't have anything for Gastrodon. Gastrodon Beartic lead was so good because it covered the options, and I just didn't it was such a good, it was so good. It was so good. So, props to Prince for sure. And honestly, I have no regrets. I may have not won this, but I'm not mad. I got to give it up to them. So, like, it was a breath of relief that the season was finally over. Because it was causing me a lot of stress. Because I was like, oh no. Because, like, I was so proud of my team. And honestly, I still am. So, yeah, that is it. That is the finals. Thank you very much for watching. And, yeah, I will see you guys in the future for more VGC content. Maybe. For more Draft League content, anyway. Because that is going to be coming up in the future. So, see you guys then. Peace.